What is going on, guys? E here with some more Star Wars Command. Today, guys, I'm back with some more Star Wars The Bad Batch. So today, guys, I'm just going to kind of be speculating on Star Wars The Bad Batch and pretty much just be talking about what I would like to see in the show. So before we get into the video, make sure to go down below, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications if you don't want to feature Star Wars video. So how I kind of want the show to kind of start off with is what they went through during Order 66. I want to see their experiences during Order 66. So did they execute Order 66? Did they disobey it? Did they remove their inhibitor chips? Like, what happened during Order 66? So I hope that's kind of how the show starts. So we see if they do execute Order 66, will they turn into like Imperial Commandos? Like, will we see their journeys through the Empire, or will they disobey Order 66 and remove their inhibitor chips and kind of have their journeys after the Clone Wars with no war, no battles, just them going on mercenary missions and just them surviving after the rise of the Empire? And if they do turn to Imperial Commandos and execute Order 66, how will they remove their inhibitor chips? I wonder who will do that. That sounds like really interesting and some cool story for me personally. There were also some unfinished episodes and story reels for the Bad Batch that was supposed to be in the Clone Wars if it had more episodes. It was like the Bad Batch on Kashyyyk, doing some missions on Kashyyyk, and I think that was probably actually around Order 66. So maybe they could start on Kashyyyk and doing that stuff there, doing the missions there. Maybe we could have some flashbacks to them doing some missions on Kashyyyk or something like that. I don't know why they would just waste story reel. Like, it's pretty much almost finished. They just need to finish like all the animations and stuff, so they could add that into the show. Characters that I would like to see in the show, of course, Bad Batch. I would like it to mainly focus on the Bad Batch, but I also think this would be a great place to actually continue some other character stories like that from the Clone Wars. So some character stories that didn't end in the Clone Wars, I feel like this would be a perfect place to kind of continue their story. And I'd also like to see some other character stories, like kind of gaps being filled, because in this time, you know, there's some characters in the Clone Wars that are also in Rebels, so I'd like to see what happened to them during this time in between Clone Wars and Rebels. You're probably saying like, oh, this should be focused on the Bad Batch, not all these other characters, but actually in The Mandalorian Season 2 we're supposed to get like Ahsoka, probably Rex, there's some other rumored characters as well, so this is very possible, especially since Dave Filoni is making the show. So I think it's very possible that we can actually see some continuations to maybe Rex's story. I would honestly really like to see what happens with Rex in between Clone Wars and Rebels. I would like to see him kind of find Wolf and Gregor and remove their inhibitor chips and see what, I kind of want to see what happens with their story, even if it's not like only like an episode or something like that, or just a little cameo or something like that. I think that would be really cool. I'd also like to see Ahsoka, see what she's doing in this time, because I think Ahsoka and Rex get separated in this time, so I'd like to see what Ahsoka's doing and how she kind of becomes Fulcrum in Rebels. Then also, Asajj Ventress, I think would be really cool to see her story kind of get wrapped up in the show as well, since we didn't really get to see an end to her in the Clone Wars, so I think this would be a great place to continue that story. And also, Obi-Wan, I think, could be really cool. Maybe the Bad Batch could come across Obi-Wan on Tatooine. Maybe they meet up or something like that. Even Yoda is a possibility. Maybe the Bad Batch could meet up with Yoda. But one of the main characters I would love to see in the story is actually Maul, because he's currently doing stuff with Crimson Dawn during this time in the middle of Clone Wars and Rebels. In between this, we don't really know his story besides for a little bit in Solo, but I don't think that's been continued. I don't know if that ever will be continued. I really hope it does. I feel like the Bad Batch could run into Crimson Dawn at some point during the story on the show, and maybe have to do some missions against them, maybe fight them, or do something with Crimson Dawn. I feel like this could be very likely, since Crimson Dawn is kind of like just going on right now. There's a very high chance that they could run into Crimson Dawn. The Bad Batch could run into Crimson Dawn and maybe see a little bit of Maul, because who doesn't really want to see Maul? Like, Maul is just amazing. Any more Maul, I will take any Maul in any form. I don't care. I just want to see more Maul. That's pretty much all I have really thought of for the show at the moment. We don't really know much about it, so it's just all speculation at this point. Now, probably not all these characters will show up in the show, but I think probably a few of them might. And I hope the beginning of the show starts with Order 66. So that's pretty much all I have to talk about in this video. I'm hoping this show will be good. It's coming out next year, so I'm really hoping it will be really good, just like the Clone Wars was. And I'm pretty excited for it. And it's in the right hands. Dave Filoni's making it. If it wasn't if Dave Filoni wasn't making it, I would be a little bit worried, but since Dave Filoni is making it, I trust him that he will make a amazing show that will continue some of the stories of characters from the Clone Wars and previous things and put it into the Bad Batch, while also giving some great stories with the Bad Batch and some mercenary missions and just them exploring and surviving the world after Order 66. So that's pretty much all I have to talk about in this video. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Are you guys excited for the Bad Batch? What do you guys want to see in the Bad Batch show? Anyways guys, pretty much all I have to talk about in this video. And I'll see you guys all later. Goodbye.